the self. And the reason for that is that the self that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided each one of us has a great impact on the heart. If the whole impact on the heart. And when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will be reduced to what our hearts is. يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. When the moment comes to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wealth and children will not be of value, but how a sound heart the individual has. So it's all reduced to your heart. And the self has, as I said, a great impact, the whole impact on the heart. So we should try to see what is this self and how to purify it to enhance the sounding of the heart. Last time, we, from the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, we sensed that the self is sort of a field surrounding every one of us. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the shaitan, when he rejected to prostrate in front of Adam, and he told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he will come from between their hands, from the back, from right, from left. So it's like a field or a shield surrounding us. This self is trying to protect us, but this shaitan is trying to penetrate slowly. And it is up to us to strengthen this shield of protection or weakens it. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Successful is he, the one who enhances it, who increases its strength and righteousness, and the loser, the one who weakens it. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Because when it becomes weak, then this field will be like full of holes for the shaitan to penetrate through. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, the whole Quran, told us that the only two that have self is us as human creation and Allah. No animals, no plants, nothing in the whole universe has self except us and Allah. Of course, when it comes to the human self, Allah mentioned maybe hundreds of verses, human self. But in one verse, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was addressing Jesus, have you told them to worship you as God rather than me, you and your mom? Jesus answered, لو كنت قلت هذا لعلمت. If I said so, you will know it. تعلم ما في نفسي ولا أعلم ما في نفسك. You know what is in myself, and I don't know what is in yourself. So Allah has a self. And we described the self in simple terms, as if when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam in the form and the shape that he fashioned him in, and then he blew into him from his soul. So the spirit or the soul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in each one of us. But this soul, when we were born, it grows with us. It is programmed. So the soul is what gives life to us as humans, exactly like electricity to the TV set. Once you unplug the TV, it's a dead box. It's not. It is of no value. without electricity. You take it with you to the desert, you probably will throw it away because you can't keep carrying it. There is no electricity, it has no value. The same thing with the soul. Once it is taken out, the body is lived by more money. But you switch the TV, you have different programs. So when you grow up, you program your soul, becomes the self. So the self is a programmed soul. Baby in his few early infant stage, he is just a soul. He's very much loved by everybody. But when the baby starts to grow up and starts to build up his self, then you can tell he is a terrible boy, very difficult to deal with. Watch your son, because he is. Okay? So it is the way the person, subhanAllah, programs himself. So this programming is what makes a righteous person from an evil person. And it is a freedom of choice. And the self is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called the amana, trust. إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ عَلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَالْجِبَالِ فَأَبَيْنَ أَنْ يَحْمِلْنَهَا وَأَشْفَقْنَ مِنْهَا وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا جَهُولًا. So this is the trust which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offered to all His creation. They refused. It's better to just be programmed as Allah programmed them to do. No freedom of choice, no self there. But the human being is the one that has it. And this field of self around our bodies, the more expanding the field is, the more the self becomes joyful and happy. So it has a capacity. If it becomes narrow and tight, the person becomes depressed. He just hates his life because it's just so tight. He feels his chest, he can't breathe. And Allah described it, mentioned about this in the Quran when He talked about the three individuals, young men who did not join the army of the Prophet. And when the Prophet came back, they knew that they can't fly because if they lie, the Prophet will know. So they said the truth. We have no excuse, but we just missed joining you. And the Prophet did not know what to do with them. And what he said to the community to boycott them, not to deal with them in any way. Even the wives left them and went to their father's houses. So if they throw the salam on somebody, this somebody will not answer the salam. They felt that they are imprisoned. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described, حَتَّى إِذَا ضَاقَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الْأَرْضُ بِمَا رَحْبَتْ. This whole vast earth around them became so narrow, as if they are in prison. وَضَاقَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ أَنفُسِهِمْ. This field of self became so tight on them that they just smothered. They hated their lives. And they were praying, oh Allah, get us out of this. Till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the verse later on to forgive them. And another verse to describe that the self is really a field that we say, Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Haven't we expand your chest? The expansion is joy and happiness. When it is tight, then the person feels tight. He just can't stand himself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in another verse to tell us about this field. وَلَا نُكَلِّفُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. We don't burden any self more than its capacity. Okay. So it is really just like the sky surrounding the earth, the self is encompassing our body. And this self, we also mentioned that it is like the source of the self is the chest, the heart. And it's like goes like this. So when someone scares you by making a sudden sound that you would not expect, the self gets into your heart because it's scared, and you feel your heart is trembling because you're scared. And the self itself contracts itself into your chest. So when this believer knows that he is departing this world, and he senses a great deal of fear of what is ahead of him. So the self feels that. So you see, the self gets deep into every cell in the body. That's why getting the soul of a disbeliever is extremely hard. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described it that the angel of death hit them on their faces and their backs to get it out. Okay? But when it comes to a believer, the self feels that it's going to a better place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية. The self of the righteous person is taken easily from the body because it is going to a better place. So, we know now that us as humans, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this self. And Allah has a self. So this self cannot be in peace with itself, in harmony with itself, unless it is connected to the Allah's self. So if we think of these psychologists who do not know Allah and think that they can treat patients psychologically, it is impossible. It is maybe they are trying to do some hypnosis to the person, but not treating. It has to be attached to Allah's part. They are hypnotizing them, but not really treating them. The self to be in peace with itself, tranquility with itself, it has to be with Allah, because this is the way Allah is the one who created it from Himself. And the self is originally a soul, it's a programmed soul, and it's from Allah. This will never go to hell. What will go to hell is the body, but not the self. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hinted about this, and hereafter He says, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَضَلَّ عَنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَفْتَرُونَ. So in the hereafter, the disbelievers will be without self. Means they will be like animals. They will feel the pain, the torture, the torment, but there is no self. The self will be away from Him for those people. But they will feel the pain exactly like animals feeling the pain in hell. On the contrary, the self will be with the believers in Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسِكُمْ وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَدْعُونَ. He is talking or addressing the righteous ones that you will be having what your self desires in paradise. So everything that they desire, they will enjoy it. The self will be joining them. So, as I said, the self is a shield surrounding you, supposed to enhance it, to protect you from shaitan. If you tend to weaken it by your own self, by your desires, so just listening blindly to whatever desires that you want to do, then you are weakening the shield. And weakening the shield, keep weakening the shield, then it is easy for the shaitan to get in. And once the shaitan gets hold of you, he becomes your companion. وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّدْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. Whoever turns away from the remembrance, you forget about Allah. He just turns to follow his desires, do whatever he wants, drinking, nightclubs, girls here and there. he is forgetting Allah. As the Prophet ﷺ said that, لا يزني الزاني وهو مؤمن. That Allah subhanahu, the Prophet ﷺ said that even this who commit adultery, he will not commit it while he is a believer. He forgets Allah at this moment. Allah is not in his mind. He commits this act, not remembering Allah at this moment. So the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a very crucial element in enhancing and purifying the self to be a shield of protection. And the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a very crucial element for us believers. To be conscious of Allah all the time is the way to really be happy and in peace, because you bring Allah as your companion. If you keep remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when you are about to even enter your office, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, sitting on your office, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, thinking of doing something, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, you're always getting into your car, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Try to always remember Allah in every step of your life, every movement of your life. Remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a very important factor, to have Him as your company. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إذا ذكرني عبدي في نفسي ذكرته في نفسي. ذكرني في جمع ذكرته في جمع أكثر. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Hadith Qudsi, if my servant remembers me in his self, I remember him in myself. If he mentioned my name in a gathering, I will mention his name in a better gathering. So Allah will be with you when you always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Being conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is extremely important. Even when you are at work and you put your hours of work, don't put half an hour more than what you expect. Be conscious. Don't put extra dollar in your pocket that you did not work for. Always being conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will be reflected on you and your life and your family. It is a barakah. It is a barakah, it's a bliss when you always be conscious of Him. And very small things, by the way. ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. The remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the heart in peace. واذكر ربك في نفسك تضرعا وخيفة. So remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in yourself and in dua and secret. اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا. Remember Allah. These are verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. Remember Allah as much as you can. If you don't remember Allah, you are weakening yourself. You are inviting the shaitan to your side. It becomes your company. The more you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shaitan will stay away from you. And be always thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be always thankful. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your health, for the health of your children, your family, the peace at home, having the car. Thank Allah that it took you to work and brought you back. Thank Allah all the time. Try to remember this. وَمَنْ شَكَرَ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ بِنَفْسِهِ. Look at even thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is enhancing the self. And don't be among those who do not thank Allah. وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ. Very few of my servants that they thank me. And Allah is even saying, وَلَئِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدِنَّكُمْ. If you thank me, I will give you more of what I have given or bestowed on you. Make your eyes to see nothing but what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The internet is full of trash. and full of treasures. YouTube has beautiful things to learn from and enjoy. Things that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When your eyes fall on something that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, stay away from it. This is what the self tries to get you to do. Okay? Because I mentioned even in the last sitting that the self can, inna nafsa la'amarakum bisu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling. Truly, self can also get you to do wrong things. And I mentioned the story of the son of Adam who killed his brother is because of his self, it's not shaitan. And the lady, the wife of the king of Egypt, who tried to seduce Prophet Yusuf, she said that it's myself. وَلَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. That myself is what tempted me to do that. And the Samurai is a man who was a Jewish man, was Prophet Musa. And when Prophet Musa went for 40 days on the mountain with Allah to give him the 10 commandments, and the snake became a snake, this and that, and he turned back and found that they are worshipping a cow made of gold. What did make you to do that? He was asking Samurai, this man. He said, Sawalaki nafsi. Myself tempted me to do so. So the self can command you or make you to do wrong things. So we have to control our desires. So when you are watching the internet, be careful of what you see. So if watching a program, seeing anything, always be careful. Reading an article, is it a good article to read or is it wrong? So the more you watch your vision of what to see and what to read, and always being conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will give you something called basira. Basira is to see beyond what you just see. So you deal with someone and he is talking, some deal with you, you can tell behind, is this going to work or not going to work? You can see beyond what is obvious. This is a light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He will give it to you. And the Prophet ﷺ told us, دعاء اللهم اجعل في قلبي نورا وفي سمعي نورا وفي بصري نورا وعن يميني نورا وعن شمالي نورا ومن فوقي نورا ومن تحتي نورا وكل نورا يا نور السماوات والارض. Oh Allah, bring light to my heart, to my vision, to my ears, to my hand, right hand, left hand, above. Make me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be light for you. If you always being conscious of Allah, remembering Allah, being aware of Him in every act, in every deed you do, being conscious of Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be with you, to be a light for you. We have to always try to struggle to control the desires of the self. Everyone itself, to purify it, to enhance it, to strengthen it, and make it a good self. To please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with, always try to, every one of us, by the way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him some sort of talent. Every one of us has different from a talent from the other. If you have a talent, you have something, some vision in your mind of doing something, try to grow this talent. Don't suppress it. You have an idea of success, see how you can work it out. Don't suppress this. A story about a rich man had 3 servants. And he brought them one day and told them, I'm going for a trip that will take several years. So I will give you some money to manage your life with until I come back. He said, okay. So he gave them the money and left. Several years back, he came back, brought them How was your life? How did you manage? The first one said, well, I invested what you gave me and now I have almost 3 times as much as you gave me. The second one said, I did not do much, but maybe I was double what you gave me. The third one said, well, I was afraid to lose the money you gave me, so I put it aside and I managed to just survive. That's all. He said, give me what I gave you. He gave him the money and he gave it to the others. He said, those are the ones to deserve having it, not you. So because they have talent, they invested in this talent and they grow. The one who has a talent and suppressed it, he doesn't deserve anything. And it will be taken from him. So if you have an idea in life to grow, try to flourish this idea. And always watch what you do all the time. And don't do anything that you know is wrong, that is going to displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلِنَفْسِهِ. Whoever does good deed is to enhance himself. So always try to do the right things. If you are about to do something and you know it's wrong, Allah, help me, stay with me. So controlling your desires, controlling yourself, try to always enhance. I would summarize the whole thing I said is in the word taqwa. Taqwa Allah. To be fearful of Allah, to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is in itself is the word to summarize the whole thing I said regarding how to enhance yourself. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to do so. قل قولي هذا واستغفر الله. اللهم اجعل اجتماعنا اجتماعا مرحوما ولا تجعل فينا شقيا ولا محروما واجعل عملنا صالحا خالصا لوجهك الكريم. اللهم لا تجعل في هذا الجمع ذنبا الا غفرته ولا مريضا الا شفيته ولا ضالا الا هديته ولا والدا الا رحمته ولا ولدا الا اصلحته ولا عدوا الا خذلته ولا دينا الا قضيته ولا حاجه من حوائج الدنيا ولا هي لقد رضونا فيها صلاح إلا قد يتوفى بك وكرمك يا أرحم الراحمين وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم.